Good morning, fellow ruminators. Welcome back to another session of Rumination with Andrew. Thank you one more time for joining as we are about to discuss a very important topical matter. Now, this morning we are going to look at Barbados and briefly on Barbados's Mia Mottley and also Guyana's Irfaan Ali, Dr. Irfaan Ali, and he is a current chairman of CARICOM. That is Dr. Irfaan Ali, the president of Guyana, is currently the chairman of CARICOM. Now, my understanding, based on what I've read, is that these two people, that's Mia Mottley and Dr. Irfaan Ali, are actually the top leaders of the Caribbean, right? They have been voted as the top leaders of the Caribbean region, right? And this was a vote. I'm not sure by whom, not sure it's by CARICOM, but they are known as the Caribbean leaders. Now, let's tune into an article from Radio Jamaica, right? That is Radio Jamaica online, Radio Jamaica News Online.com. Let me see if I can share my screen with you and for us to look. We're going to look at several sources here. This is not any conspiracy, right? This is what has happened because you sometimes like to listen to your mainstream media, right? Because they are telling you the truth. So you've got to, I understand that you have to be fed with milk. So let us give you the milk. You don't want to eat meat, so let's give you the milk. And it says here on Radio Jamaica News Online, it says President of Guyana, Irfaan Ali, named 2024 Caribbean Global Leader, right? So he is named a Caribbean Global Leader in recognition of his leadership in development and then advancement of the Caribbean community. The President of Guyana, Dr. Irfaan Ali, has been named the Caribbean Global Leader for 2024. So this has just happened, it just took place, right? It is current that he is the global leader. Dr. Ali topped the list of 10 leaders from across the region, with Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley copying the second spot. I thought she would have copped the first spot, but that is not so, right? He has copped the first spot. Not sure why, but that is so. Interestingly, I guess because of my own ignorance, and I'm not going to blame it on Dr. Ali, Dr. Irfaan Ali, I did not know of him before, before all of this brouhaha over Haiti and the fact that, before the meeting was held in Jamaica, I did not hear of Dr. Irfaan Ali. I did not see him as a visible Caribbean or global leader, but it seems like he is an authentic leader and a world-class leader, an indomitable leader like Mia Mottley. Now, the other leaders are the Prime Minister of Jamaica, Andrew Holness, the Prime Minister of Grenada, Dickon Mitchell, the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Terence Michael Drew, and the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Ralph Gonzalez. Rounding out the list are the Prime Minister of Bahamas, Philip Davis, and the list goes on, right? So I think this might be limited to CARICOM, might be restricted to CARICOM. I'm sure that it is not the entire region, including the Hispanic region and the Francophone region. Perhaps it's just the entire region. Perhaps Haiti is included also. Well, Haiti doesn't have a functioning government at the moment. So that is it. Now we hear from let's look at Loop. There is a Loop here had given us the list in terms of yes, it had listed in terms of from first to 10 in the order. It gave us a chronological order of the leaders. He topped the list. That is Dr. Irfaan Ali topped the list with other prime ministers and presidents coming below him. Of course, we said that Mia Mottley was in the second position. She's our second global Caribbean global leader. All right. So Guyana's, and this is coming from Loop Online, right? And it says, Guyana's President, Dr. Irfaan Ali, has been voted as the Caribbean Global Leader for 2024. The Caribbean Global Awards announced this year's list of leaders highlighting those who have shown exceptional dedication to their nations and the wider Caribbean community. President Ali was the people's choice for Best Caribbean Leader, receiving the majority of 609 valid votes cast. The top 10 Caribbean global leaders as chosen by the people are, and President Dr. Irfaan Ali from Guyana, Prime Minister Mia Amor Mottley, right, SC Barbados, and we have in third position, we have the Grenadian Prime Minister Dixon Mitchell, and in fourth position, we have Prime Minister Andrew ONPC from Jamaica. And I wonder what is happening here and what is happening to the super ego of Prime Minister Andrew that Jamaica has found itself in the fourth position. And even though he's running around with the to-dos of the world and he has been invited to the G9, was it the G9 meeting to which he was involved, to which he was invited, or the G20, I can't remember if the G20, I think it was the G9, right? The meeting to which Andrew Holness was invited some years ago. And he felt so honored and so privileged. And he's running around with Justin Trudeau of Canada as if Justin Trudeau is about to develop Jamaica. Well, that's the impression that we're getting from the media or from Andrew Holness himself. Now, Prime Minister Ralph Everard Gonzalez from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, well, he's in the sixth position. And the fifth position, you have Prime Minister Dr. Terence Michael Drew, and he's from St. Kitts and Nevis. And in the seventh position, you have Prime Minister Philip Davis from Bahamas, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley, not Bowley, but Rowley, and he's from Trinidad and Tobago, and he's in the eighth position, which is interesting. I think that he is also a very unpopular leader in Trinidad and Tobago. When I listen to the Trinidadians online, they do not seem to be very impressed with Dr. Keith Rowley, right? Is it Rowley or Rowley? You can correct me. Now we have, in the ninth position, you have Prime Minister Gaston Brown, and he's from Antigua and Barbuda. He's been there for some time now, right? And in the 10th position, we have President Sylvanie Burton, and this is from Dominica, and actor Michael Rennet from Guadeloupe. So these persons have tied for the 10th position. But the fact of the matter is that Jamaica is in fourth position. The Prime Minister is in fourth position, which I find to be very interesting. And the fact that Mia Mottley of Barbados, who seems to be on the world stage, and she's been on the world stage for some time now, at least since 2020, during the pandemic, her name, and perhaps shortly there before, we heard her on the global stage, and she has been an indefatigable defender of human rights and racial justice and social justice and even climate justice, right? She is a priestess of climate change, right? And we all have to queue up and listen to her because she is an authority on climate. And I recommend all the Caribbean territories to listen to her because we do need to make changes in our environment. And we understand that he's also being propped up, that's Dr. Irfaan Ali, as this food security specialist. And he's also an advocate, an activist, a climate change activist, right? This is Dr. Irfaan Ali. So when you saw that interview done with the British journalist recently, right, in which he was pretending to be defending the interest of third world and, developing nations, that is Dr. Irfaan Ali. He had a recent interview with a journalist from the BBC, in which, it has been stated, and it was all over the news, including the Guardian newspaper, the UK Guardian newspaper was saying that Dr. Irfaan Ali has corrected the wrongs. He has put this journalist in his place because he has let him know that, Caribbean people need to be developed. The region needs to be developed, and we need reparations, right? We need reparatory justice. We do need in the Caribbean, and he is that defender. One of the things that I find to be amazing is the palpable, as I've often said, hypocrisy in our world. Because in 2003, thereabout, when John Bertrand Aristide, then former Prime Minister of Haiti, requested reparations from France, I understand, and based on several sources, or many sources that I've read, I understand that that was one of the major reasons for which he was deposed in 2004. Because, the then Prime Minister of France called the United States and said that we have to get rid of this man because he's insisting that France pay reparations to Haiti. Why is it then the mere Mottleys of Barbados and Dr. Irfaan Ali of Guyana are running around and they can be able to defend the virtues of reparations, right? While that leader, the then Haitian president, could not have defended it and was deposed for doing such. Why? Or is it that their understanding of reparatory justice means that it is closely linked, it's closely aligned with that of climate change? Is reparatory justice as used by Mia Mottley and Dr. Irfaan Ali just buzzwords? Right? Is this a smokescreen, as it were? These are questions that we have to ask ourselves because Mia Mottley comfortably, along with Dr. Ali, can speak about reparations without any form of, you know, um, you know, what should I say now? They speak boldly about climate justice and reparatory justice without any form of vindictiveness, right? We are not seeing where they are being silenced by anyone in these first world countries, these so-called first world countries in the developed nations of the world, as it were. They seem to be, right? They seem to be comfortable with these people, right? Because as we said, that Mia Mottley is or seems to be vying for the secretary of the United Nations Security Council. Now, one of the things you need to understand is that her vying for that position does not mean that she's going to get it, because that's what they do, as I've told you on this channel, on this show, that they often use you and then spit you out of their mouths. Right? They're not necessarily going to, they might give you that position and they use you, tell you that this is what your platform should be, this is what the issues that you should speak about. You should really aggressively seek to implement these programs in the region. And she seems to have, that's Mia Mottley, she seems to have cemented herself in the Caribbean region as a solid human rights activist, right? She is, and people think that she is defending the interest of the Caribbean when it might not necessarily be so, because what you see oftentimes is not what you get. And this is what I have been telling people all the times. I'm trying to let you know that what you see often in this world is not what you get. If you do not understand the agenda, then you do not, what you see is not necessarily what you see, right? Because other things are happening behind the scenes. Other things are happening behind the scenes. And that is why when you see the agenda, you can say what this person is saying is not sincere when you understand the agenda. But if you don't know the agenda, right, then you are going to feel as if, she is legitimate. And along with Dr. Irfaan Ali. I would like the Guyanese, those of you who are watching this show, this channel, for you to comment in terms of what on the ground do people think about Dr. Irfaan Ali. I do not know the man, so I can't comment on his character. I also do not know personally Mia Mottley, right? But I can see her, I listen to her speech, I read some of her statements, and I'm realizing that there are some contradictions in what she does and sometimes what she says. For example, in 2019, when some of the prime ministers and presidents of the Caribbean were invited by Trump, because, at the time, Trump wanted, along with the White House, wanted to have invaded Venezuela, right? During the sanctions that were imposed in Venezuela. Some of the other Caribbean, so I shouldn't say some of the other, but some Caribbean countries were not in agreement with what was happening, including Mia Mottley's Barbados, right? She was not, in agreement with how Trump was handling the situation. And she thought that the fact that Mike Pompeo went to Jamaica and invited some other prime ministers and some of the ones who were in agreement with what Trump was doing. So Mike Pompeo visited Jamaica, and there was a meeting there with Andrew Holness, and other prime ministers from the Caribbean were invited to Jamaica to talk about how, that would have unfolded, how the United States would have treated Venezuela. Because remember now that the Caribbean territories, or the Caribbean countries, they had agreement with Venezuela. They were involved in this Petrocaribbean petroleum agreement that had been, implemented, I think, from 2006 thereabout, that the Petrocaribbean came into being. Can't remember the specific date, but it was sometimes then. And so the fact of the matter is that Mia Mottley was in disagreement with what Trump was doing at the moment, right? Fast forward to the time when Biden came into power, they had the Summit of the Americas, and some countries like Cuba and Nicaragua were alienated and were not invited to the Summit of the Americas. Some Caribbean countries in that time also decided that they would not have attended that session with Biden. I think it was held in California, because they thought that this was a summit. It was a summit of the Americas, and it had nothing to do with politics, but all the Caribbean and Latin American countries should have been represented at the meeting. And because Nicaragua and Cuba were alienated or were not invited, you had some countries decided that they would have not gone to the meeting, right? Now, the fact of the matter is that Mia Mottley went. So when Trump was in office, under the same American empire, she decided that she would not have participated in a meeting with Pompeo, right, on Venezuela, on sanctions on Venezuela. However, when it came on to Cuba and Nicaragua, and she made some statements about Cuba and Nicaragua, that in order for them to fight the battle, they have to join the dialogue, something of that sort. It's not the exact words she used, but he says if they want to really get some form of justice in the world, they have to join the table. In other words, you have to do what you're told to do, right? Make some compromises. That is what I think she was inferring, that perhaps Cuba and Nicaragua need to make some compromises. But she wasn't making any compromise when she decided to, not join forces with the other Caribbean nations who decided that they were going to Washington. Not Washington, it was in Florida, to meet President Trump about the imposition of sanctions on Venezuela at the time. Now, of course, I'm not in agreement with any of the politics, right? Because we know that is how the empire works, how it operates. And I am not pro-imperial undertakings. However, what I'm suggesting here is that her actions, that's Mia Mottley's actions, are not necessarily always consistent. Right? Her actions are not always consistent. And I think that if you look at other things that she has done, you realize that she seems not to be that sincere. I hope she's sincere, and I'm sure that maybe all her actions are well-intentioned, but people need also to call her out on some things that she's doing and some things that she's also saying. So that is what I wanted to say. Let us look if we can look at other sources. Why is it that Guyana, Guyanese president, Dr. Irfaan Ali, who is, in my sense, a political neophyte. He is not, he's a political novice. He's not someone that is renowned in the Caribbean. And I am not sure what special thing he's achieved in the Caribbean so far. He's young. Is it possible to read here? I think I had his a brief biography of him. I might not have, yes, but he is 44 years old, right? He was born in 1980. Yes, let me read his biography. It's right here. Let me read, the writing is very pale. Sometimes on the internet, sometimes you're getting writing and the yeah, let me see if I can share my screen, or am I sharing my screen already? All right, let's see. His Excellency Dr. Mohammed Irfaan Ali was sworn in as Guyana's North Executive President on August 2, 2020. Dr. Ali is one of two sons of his parents, who are both educators. He was born on April 25, 1980, into a Muslim Indo-Guyanese family at Leonara, West Coast, Demerara. All right, so that's Demerara. It's a province in Guyana. Not sure. I think perhaps that is Demerara. I think I've heard about Demerara. Do we have a Demerara River? Now, his early education started at Leonora Nursery and Primary Schools and progressed to the Comelia Ida Primary School, while he completed his secondary education at the Stanislaus College in Georgetown, right? Stanislaus. Dr. Ali is the holder of a doctorate in urban and regional planning from the University of the West Indies, a Master of Arts degree in manpower planning, a postgraduate diploma in international business, a postgraduate certificate in finance from Anglia Ruskin University. Never heard of that university before. And he has also an LLM degree in international commercial law. So he's a very, very studious man at the University of Salford, and a Bachelor of Arts degree honors in business management from the University of Sunderland, right? So that is, he's very, very accomplished as far as his studies are concerned. He was a member of the Canadian Institute of Management up to 2017 and Project Management Professional, that's PMP 2006. He previously served as project manager of the Caribbean Development Banks. And this is where now I said, wow, interesting. Now, so he was an employee rather, at the Caribbean Development Bank, right? So he previously served as project manager of the Caribbean Development Bank's Project Implementation Unit in the Ministry of Finance and senior planner in the State Planning Secretariat. He became a member of the National Assembly of Guyana in 2006 and was subsequently appointed to the portfolios of Minister of Housing and Water and Minister of Tourism, Industry and Commerce. During his time as the Minister of Housing, he implemented the most extensive endowment campaign in the history of the country, backed by a massive distribution of lots to citizens of all social strata and geographic regions. So this is his major accomplishment, right? But that is domestic, right? What is his major regional and international accomplishment? In the National Assembly, Dr. Ali was also a leading spokesperson on the economy and finance. He served as chair of one of the most important committees, the Public Accounts Committee, and co-chair of the Economic Services Committee of the Parliament of Guyana. Right? So this is who this man is, the Dr. Irfaan Ali, right? A very distinguished South American citizen, right, from Guyana. And he is one of our indomitable leaders on the world stage, right? He supersedes Mottley. Now, this is coming from Caribbean Daily.news. Let me see if I can share my screen with you and see the two people here, these very important Caribbean leaders, right? They are the Caribbean global leaders. And you've got to show them the respect. And we must respect them for the efforts and for the job, right? The unwavering commitment to climate justice and climate change. We've got to really give them the credit where credit is due, because we have to save our planet. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got to save our planet from destruction. And I think that Dr. Irfaan Ali and Barbados' Prime Minister Mia Mottley, Mia Amor Mottley, are two very important people who can help to rescue us from climate destruction, right? Very important that you understand that, right? If you have not learned anything from this channel, I am asking you please to ensure that climate change is a very important matter in our world today. More important possibly than even food security and any other form of human rights. Very important that you understand that. So we have Guyanese President Irfaan Ali honored with Order of Freedom of Barbados. So Barbados decided that they would honor Dr. Irfaan Ali, 44, maybe last year he was 43, with this very distinguished Barbadian award, right? So here we see the motley, right? And we see to your left, you have Dr. Irfaan Ali. Now, Guyana's President Irfaan Ali was bestowed with the prestigious Order of Freedom of Barbados, the country's highest national award, during Barbados's 57th Independence Day celebrations on November 30th, 2023. The award recognizes President Ali's outstanding contributions to regional integration and his unwavering commitment to fostering social and economic partnerships within the Caribbean region. Right? The Order of Freedom of Barbados is an honorary award bestowed upon individuals who have made significant contributions to the advancement of Barbados and the wider Caribbean region. President Ali's recognition with this award underscores his dedication to strengthening regional ties and promoting initiatives and enhance the well-being of Caribbean citizens. Throughout his tenure, President Ali has consistently demonstrated his commitment to regional integration. He has actively championed initiatives that promote collaboration, trade, and economic development among Caribbean nations. His efforts have been instrumental in fostering a more unified and interconnected Caribbean region, breaking down barriers and fostering a sense of shared purpose, right? Nobody writes as, with using flowery language as Caribbean region, right? People tend to use all of these great words, right? And using very eloquent words to describe what people are doing or are not doing. And sometimes all of these words are just empty words, not really saying anything. President Ali has also played a leading role in advancing social and economic partnerships across the Caribbean, right? He has emphasized the importance of cooperation in addressing shared challenges and fostering sustainable development. Sustainable development. And we've got to understand that we're moving towards that sustainable development. That's what we're moving to in the world at large, right? Everybody's talking about sustainable development, and we must ensure that everywhere we have that within our vocabulary, sustainable development. His leadership has been instrumental in promoting initiatives that address issues such as food security, poverty reduction, and healthcare access. And when you read these words, food security, poverty reduction, and healthcare access, coming directly from the United Nations, right? It's coming out of their playbook, particularly in relation to the upliftment of the people of Barbados and the wider region, right? Particularly in relation to the upliftment of the people of Barbados, Little England, right? And the wider region. right? So therefore, Mottley was obliged to award him, to confer upon him this very prestigious, this very distinguished award. President Ali's recognition with the Order of Freedom of Barbados serves as a testament to his unwavering commitment, right? These wonderful sounding words, right? To regional integration and social and economic partnerships. How many times are they going to tell us about this unwavering commitment, right? Just to regional integration and social and economic partnerships? How many times? His leadership has played a significant role in strengthening the Caribbean region and improving the lives of its citizens, paving the way for a brighter and more prosperous future for all, right? Because that is what these leaders are all about. Great leaders, dynamic leaders, right? On the level of the Prime Minister, people like Prime Minister Michael Manley and all of the Adams, right? And all of these other prime ministers we've had in the Caribbean, their labor, right, is necessary and is significant. And we need to applaud them and to honor them as much as we can, to support them, because they are about sustainable development and food security, right? And improving the health of all the members of the Caribbean region. My understanding also is that Guyana is a country, just like Trinidad and Tobago, that is plagued by the conflict between, Indo-Guyanese and, and Afro-Guyanese. So we have this sort of unending conflict that has been there, as long as, since as long as I know of independent Guyana, right? The country has been plagued bedeviled by conflicts between, and these are very serious conflicts sometimes, between Indo-Guyanese and also Afro-Guyanese. What is the situation there now with that? Has it improved under Dr. Ali, because he's now being touted and propped up as this very important man, and he's a significant leader in the Caribbean? So we know that charity first begins at home, Dr. Ali. So I hope that he has been trying to improve on the relations or the relationship between Indo-Guyanese and also their Afro descendants, the Guyanese, who are also equal nationals of that country. I think that he is he the second Muslim or the first Muslim to have won the presidency in Guyana. I think that's what I read, right? That he might have been, or he might be the second Muslim, because he is Muslim, right? To have won the Guyanese presidency. Now, let's look at this article that was, posted or published rather in the Gleaner, in the Jamaica Gleaner, about Guyana, because many things are happening under his leadership. That is the Guyanese president. All right, Guyana is now becoming a very significant country in the world, particularly in the developing world. Guyana signs multi-million-dollar deal for offshore patrol vessel to boost national defense. Right, so here we have the president, Dr. I'm not seeing him here. Is he here in the picture? Yeah, Ali, he's probably somewhere. Representatives, it's representatives of the government, because I'm not seeing him here, of the government of Guyana and French company sign $5 billion deal for the procurement of an offshore patrol vessel to boost its national defense and security capabilities through the Guyana Defense Force. And the government of Guyana has signed an agreement with French company, is it OCEA SA, for the procurement of an offshore patrol vessel at the cost of 39.5 million euro. Now, in a statement, Guyana's Minister of Finance said that the move is part of the government's strategy to boost its national defense and security capabilities through the Guyana Defense Force. So things are really improving, and Guyana is really holding its own on the world stage, right? Guyana is holding its own on the world stage. I think that Prime Minister Andrew Holness has to expedite the whole process of, whether or not we have oil in Jamaica. Should we not be, aren't they investigating, right? The American companies or Canadian companies in Jamaica investigating whether or not there might be some petroleum in Jamaica. Because, without that, I don't think he's going to be able to compete with Guyana's Dr. Irfaan Ali and the mere Mottleys of the world. That's Barbados' mere Mottley, right? I don't think he's going to be able to compete with these people, these highly influential people. So what do you think about Dr. Irfaan Ali? And most important to the Guyanese friends and colleagues, right? What do you think about your president, President Dr. Irfaan Ali? Do you think that he's doing a fantastic job in Guyana? Now that we have, you have a petroleum economy, right? Do you think that he's doing a good job? Is he seeking to improve the relationship or the racial, relations on the island? Not on the island, but in the country, because Guyana is not an island. It's actually a country, right? It's a South American country. But is he trying to improve the relationship, because there has been tensions there in previous times between Indo-Guyanese and also Afro-Guyanese? What is the economy like? Right? What is the economy like in Guyana? Right? Are we seeing a boom, an economic boom in Guyana, as they're telling us? Can you afford the prices of food, etc., clothing, and housing? Right? These are some of the things that we need to understand, because oftentimes what we see in the media do not cohere with the things that are on the ground, with the reality that the people are faced with. So, I just decided that I would present this video. I'm not sure how much you have gleaned from it, but what I gleaned, what I learned, because every day we learn something new, right? Is that President Irfaan Ali and Mia Amor Mottley are the top Caribbean global leaders. Always remember that. Not Andrew Holness of Jamaica, but in first place, we have Dr. Irfaan Ali from Guyana, or of Guyana, and Mia Mottley of Barbados. Let's send them a congratulatory note or message and support them in their quest to build a better and more secured Caribbean region. Thank you so much for joining. Hope to see you in the next video. Please remember to like and to share and to subscribe and to leave a thoughtful comment. We have to like the videos so that the videos can be dispersed and shared with as many people on this platform. All the best to you. See you then. Bye.